What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Don't Quote Us Sports, the podcast where the takes are bold, the stats are questionable, and the accountability is non existent. From rain soaked Charlotte to $1 billion UFC deals, the fellas are back with a loaded episode. We're talking Shohei Ohtani's latest off field drama, the shakeup coming to sports media, why the college football polls already have us rolling our eyes, and which preseason NFL debuts actually mattered. Oh, and somewhere in there we learned that Herb drinks out of measuring cups. So buckle up. This is Don't Quote Us Sports. What is up? Welcome back to Don't Quote Us Sports. And fellas, I gotta start it off with a fact that I've learned recently, and it was really mind-boggling to me. So I'm 28 years old now, so I've gone into watching the news periodically. Say what you want about that.
It took you 28 years?
News.
It took you 28 years?
Local news.
It took you 28 years?
The only time I would watch it when I was younger was if school was getting canceled, and I had to see if
You were just waiting for the ticket.
exactly. So now I actually watch it, and they had a segment. If you had to guess on average, the city that gets more rain each year, and I said Charlotte and Seattle, what would your immediate response be?
Hey, listen, I don't want to hear about this nonsense, okay? You're not going to sit here and tell us that Charlotte annually is getting more rain than the rainiest city in the United States.
Fun fact, we do. As of this year specifically, so far, we have almost twice the amount of rain in Charlotte compared to Seattle. But then on average, if you take the full year, like they went back, they looked at it. There's some decent data here that we're comparing.
Hey,
We usually get
Rob,
on average 4 more inches of rain each year than Seattle. Fun fact.
They have that in a summer league trophy, bro. That's what they got going.
We are the rainiest city.
They're like, hey, we're the rainiest city, and we won the summer league, bro.
listen, I don't want to make light of the floods up there, but I think that may have something to do with your statistics, brother.
Dude, I'm telling you, I shit you not. I feel like it has been raining nonstop for at least a month straight now.
Hey, Charlotte gets a rain for 3 straight days, and they're out there making up statistics on local news.
I'm gonna have to go find the clip now. I'm gonna have to.
They think they're in the Pacific Northwest now.
I'm gonna have to.
Right? What are we doing?
I'm gonna have to shout out WCNC. You know.
Hey, he says I'm watching local news. Doesn't even know what network he's watching.
I got it.
It's Fox,
I
bro.
got it.
Do me
WCNC.
Do me a favor.
Thank you.
Do me a favor. Say that to someone from Seattle and see if you don't get slapped in the mouth. All right?
Sorry, but at least I'm coming with facts.
I'd like to see the report, not the news article. I'd like to see the scientific data in which they are citing.
What scientific data do you need? It's things that have happened. It's numbers.
Yeah, I would like to see, correct. I would like to see those figures in front of me.
Okay.
Laid out from some sort of government header on top.
Okay.
Preferably.
I'm trying to do better of not multitasking while we film this podcast, but immediately after filming, I'll get on ChatGPT and find that out for us.
That you can't use Google? You can't just Google
Too
it?
many words, you know? Like, if I'm going to type that many words, I want immediate
Just
answer.
want to read about 12 incorrect fucking websites that compiled the fucking list.
Exactly.
Rob, hey, welcome to Don't Quote Us Sports. Boys.
It's going to pull it from Charlotte Tourism Board, and they're going to be like, we're the best.
We're the richest city. We're the cleanest city. Guess what?
They're changing it.
Rain. Seattle might grab the torches and pitchforks, Isaiah, and start marching. You watch yourself.
The wettest city in the United States, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Who
the
knew?
LaMelo Ball
Who knew?
effect.
Stay moist.
LaMelo Ball
Stay
effect.
moist, boys.
Stay moist. Jesus. Well, now that we got that out of the way, listen. Well, we talked about it. I want to bring up something. Okay, this is a friend going to other friends for an opinion. Rob's been briefed a little bit. All right, so listen. I live in an apartment complex. Lived here for a long time now. Neighbors come and go. I have a neighbor next door. She just had a baby. Thin walls. Keep that in mind. Okay. I am tiptoeing
Supposedly.
around my apartment, like trying to be respectful. I'm a heavy walker. I'm literally tiptoeing after 10 p.m. to the bathroom. Would you do the same, Isaiah? I feel like
all
I'm
day long.
Not all day long, but I'm you know,
At 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night.
7 p.m.'s newborn bedtime, bro. What
Fuck
are we talking
no.
about? Oh, you're playing the JBL.
No, I am not. I'm going to be
Beats
respectful,
pill.
but I'm also not going to drastically change the way I walk. They're not going to hear your fucking. If it's your next door neighbor,
Thin walls, brother.
what are you fucking jumping?
No,
Bro.
I
That
walk heavy though.
if you're concerned about the sounds of your step, that would be the people below you, not the
Oh, yeah,
people
fuck them.
next
I
to
don't
you.
I wish that were the case here. Okay, I'm fairly certain she's heard every episode of this podcast, so she might be fan number one. That's how thin these walls are. All right, so that's all I'm saying is I've been trying to be respectful, and I'm not. Rob made a similar point, right, Rob? Like you can't. It's an apartment. Everybody expects it, but like I'm finding myself. I'm in bed, right before you go to bed, you get a little scroll on the talk, right? I got a Bluetooth headphone in, trying to keep it quiet.
See, that's so dramatic.
Yeah, I like I told her, he was whispering to me on the phone the other day. I was like, bro.
He's like, "What are you saying?"
I was like, I get it. You gotta respect thy neighbor, like they say, but also meet in the middle, bro. Like, don't be playing your Beats pill at 6 a.m. But also, you can watch TV.
Yeah, you also have
Like,
the Uno
you gotta
reverse
meet in the
card.
middle. Yeah.
You have to listen to the baby cry then at the same time. That cancels each other out.
Listen, karma base. If we're talking karma here,
Dude, you're already so far behind in the karma department. It doesn't fucking matter.
What are we talking about here? I'm trying to be a good person.
You have 32 years saying the opposite.
Wow. That's defamation of character. I will see you in a court of law.
Is that
no,
slander or is that libel? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I've got a lawyer on retainer. We'll see you in court, brother.
If only if you two went to a law school, we would know.
Hey, neither one of us went to a law school. We went to a school that had a law school.
I walked by it.
On campus.
I walked by it at least a couple times.
You had to hear rumblings in the library, boys. We had to.
Listen, let me.
I took one class. I took business law one semester. It was the worst class I ever took.
Business law and econ are the reasons I got out of business school. All right, mainly because I didn't want to go into law school. I don't want to shit on our alma mater here, Isaiah, but they really sold that law school to incoming students, didn't they?
I haven't.
It's all they ever talked about. And then you get
It's
there.
a pride and joy, baby.
It's here on the corner. It's here.
No, they sold me on actuarial science. That was their calling card. Couldn't get enough.
Was that before or after the business school was unaccredited?
Almost unaccredited. Thank you very much.
No. Oh, they were in my time. They were unaccredited at one point.
Well, they had it back by the time I graduated.
Hey, way to turn things around, baby. Way to turn things around.
Okay. Let's stop dicking around and let's get into the meat and potatoes of why us three gentlemen are here on a fine Tuesday night. And that's
we weren't here to talk about your local news broadcast?
And yes. No, that's why we're switching gears. Let's get into the sports. And boy, do I have a doozy to start off with. Shohei Ohtani once again finds himself in a very precarious situation for a professional baseball player. So news broke today that there is a real estate investor and broker that are suing Shohei and his agent, insinuating that they got them fired from a $240 million luxury housing development in Hawaii. Essentially, they're claiming that there was a third partner, which is the venture capital firm that is funding the deal, to essentially drop them because they were not happy with them. So now they are getting sued, and they were trying to strong arm them into doing a bunch of stuff, but it's not really clear as to what stuff they were trying to strong arm them for. The details of it is really weird. I don't know why Shohei's agent is trying to strong arm a real estate broker, an investor. I don't know what he's expecting to receive out of that. But he finds himself in the face of another or in the middle of another scandal. Very interesting one at that. But it's, at least for me personally, just made me start to question either Shohei just hangs out with really shady people, which is kind of concerning for a man of his magnitude, or he is just so blissfully unaware of anything that's happening in his own personal circle that he doesn't even realize what's going on with his name attached to it.
No, no. But here's the first thing I want to say is, whoever Shohei's interpreter is right now better watch his neck, because he's on the chopping block for this one. Okay, the last interpreter was the fall guy. This interpreter better watch himself. But no, you really think, you believe that Shohei makes all this money, is a smart, clean cut, seemingly business savvy type guy, and you think he just is unaware that everybody around him is just making dirty money?
I mean, to be honest, we don't really know, because up until, I would say, probably really this year, he always used an interpreter. So I could never really couldn't really get a read on his like personality and character, because he was so shy and awkward in the media. So everybody just thought he was like this goody two shoes, that kind of kept to himself, blah blah blah. But now this is twice in the span of a year and a half where he finds himself in the middle of some weird shit, weird circumstances.
I mean, first off, for me, I like to think in my review of what's going on, I'm going to say allegedly, because I have no idea what's going on.
Fair.
So,
Hey,
allegedly, we see Ohtani in hot water again, right? And obviously, everyone was talking about what happened last time, and I think everyone gave Ohtani the benefit of the doubt. He had an interpreter. He didn't know what was going on. He had there was a lot of outs for the MLB, the face of the MLB, it seemed like. I read a little bit into this one. I think an article put out by the Athletic kind of talked about it. It sounds like this brokerage deal, or this land deal with luxurious homes, started in 2013, but they didn't land Ohtani till 2023, and they try to use his star power or his status. Like, hey, Ohtani lives here. It's kind of how I read it. Like, you want to live here, Ohtani lives up the street. Like that's, and I think they try to use Ohtani's star power to kind of force people out of the deal, or maybe not to let them have a say in it. It's kind of, they also made it seem like it was kind of a normal business practice, but just kind of came to light. Either way, I mean, you guys, I don't know if you guys are giving the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, I mean, Ohtani either one you got to take control of your finances and what you were doing, or two, is he just part of this stuff and just trying to complete the fifth a little bit? Because said he did purchase like a $17 million home there for like in 2023. I don't know what to believe, bro.
I mean, is he trying to finance the nation of Japan? Is his contract not enough money that he has to be reinvesting in these levels? It's not like he's throwing some money back home because his buddy wants to open a restaurant. He likes the way his buddy cooks, so he's going to invest. No, we're talking about like multi-$100 million deals. I get make your money work, but Jesus.
Or we wouldn't get it because we don't have money to make it work. He has so much money, he can just willy-nilly do all of it. Let it keep building. But I will say,
the community, Jesus.
The weird thing is, so they brought him on to be a spokesperson for the project. So my first question is, if this project started in 2010 or 2011, whenever it was, is it done? And if it's not done, why are you bringing somebody in before it's even completed to then be a spokesperson for it? Like, we're talking, like, they're playing quite the long game if they're getting them in 2023 and it still hasn't been finished to do it. Like, that seems odd to me.
They're having trouble selling mortgages and leases out there, bro. They said we gotta go get a face.
But keep in mind.
But to your point, Herb, about trying to prop up the Japanese economy, this is a very targeted campaign to get Japanese investors to buy into that project.
All right, who saw that coming?
It's at least into the project or buying homes there, right? Because it is in Hawaii, correct? And I mean, you're going to attract not only the American market, but you're also going to attract the Japanese market.
Guys,
But go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, I deserve an applaud. I can't say it on this recording because I'm a better person now. But I had a thought that popped into my head that I could have said, and it could have been taken the wrong way. So
Hey,
I'm learning. That's growth.
Hey, we applaud.
What a moment.
We applaud mediocrity. What are we doing?
No.
The bare minimum.
Listen, I'm glad you bit your tongue. Thank you.
Yeah. Small victories.
Thank you for biting your tongue.
We
what I was going to
have
say
jobs.
is I mean, Ohtani is set to make $100 million just in endorsements alone in 2025, outside of his baseball contract, just because with all the Japanese stuff in there. What are we doing? What are we doing trying to delve into all this stuff, bro? I mean, he allegedly probably was sports betting, and he got out of that. He'll probably get out of this too. So I'm not diving too much into it. It's interesting, it's fun, but there's going to be a way where either he's not attached to it or his fucking offshore business account is now invested.
I'm just saying, though, when you think about it, like, best player in their respective sport, you haven't seen a guy involved in a scandal like that. Like, LeBron didn't have scandals like this. Gretzky didn't have scandals like this. I don't think, like, Messi did. But now
Jordan liked to go to the casino.
Okay.
Like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's the extent of it. It wasn't this level multinational conglomerate shit.
Or the FBI having to get involved.
Or Tom Brady kissing his son on the mouth.
Okay, that's a whole different.
That's not controversy. That's love between the father and his son. How dare you? I don't understand this show. It doesn't make any sense. You have more money than anybody probably should. Right.
In a lot of third world countries, that's for sure.
Just higher than their GDP. Fucking, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I need a little more.
Mm-hmm.
For what? For what? Are you gonna bankroll the nation of Japan? No. I don't get this. And dude, it's a pattern. It's a pattern of this consistent bullshit. And Isaiah, I'm gonna throw you under the bus on this. And you say put him in the hall. I don't know, brother.
Okay.
I don't know, brother. Hey, if Pete can't get there, what are we doing with Shohei?
He was found guilty, though.
Hey, put Pete in the hall.
You can now.
I do think that Shohei gets by with not having to speak to the media or not having to address shit because of the language barrier, which I completely understand.
I don't, because I know for a fact he can speak good enough English.
But at some point, it's like, okay, we just can't say, he didn't know about it. Let's move on with the day. Like at some point, it's got to be addressed. So I feel like that sports betting thing, like interpreter swept under the rug, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, he's hitting dingers. So it's like MLB's gonna do their best to kind of cover whatever up they can.
Definitely.
Allegedly.
How easy it is to blame it on your interpreter, though, bro.
I'm telling you, bro, his guy's on the block.
Dude, I'm pretty sure
whoever that guy is.
I'm pretty sure they tell famous people you always need to have a fall guy for situations just like this.
Hey. They're like, hey, you're betting on Korean basketball at 3 a.m. And he's like, no, that was my interpreter.
Got to be ready to fall on that sword.
Hey, we all know that everybody's got a bag man. You got to have a bag man to take the fall, brother. Mm-hmm. That's all.
But we can move over into some news that isn't alleged. This is very real and finalized. The UFC officially signed a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount beginning in 2026. And guys, I don't know if you're aware of what this means, but it means that we will also see the end of the pay-per-view model, which, praise the fucking heavens, is beautiful. Means that you just need to have a Paramount Plus account and you can watch any UFC fight night, fight card that there is from 2026 to 2033, 34. So I think that's a win for all of us. as average Joes. Might actually
Yeah,
watch UFC more now.
I mean, there are certain sites on the internet where you don't got to pay for shit. Not that we endorse that type of behavior at all. Okay, not like Rob has an account or anything. It's fine. But dude, here's what I want to say about these media deals, because you're talking about the UFC one to Paramount, huge deal, huge deal. But then we're also talking about the NFL going to ESPN and WWE going to ESPN. And correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys understand this better. And I want to talk about UFC and WWE. So UFC goes from a pay-per-view type deal to all you need is a monthly subscription. You can watch all our content. You can watch all the fights, main card, big stuff, the UFC on at the White House. Like you'll be able to watch all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be 13 marquee events. So the big UFC, John Jones type beats, and then 30 fight nights will be on Paramount.
Okay. And so WWE now has gone to ESPN. You guys heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before WWE, as I understand it, used to be similar to what the UFC is now doing, where they were on Peacock. All you had to have was a Peacock subscription, which was decently cheap, if I understand it right. And you got every major event. Plus, they were on cable too. So, like, it feels like the UFC is making a move to make it more accessible, and the WWE is now money grabbing on this thing. Because I crunched some of the numbers and kind of looked at it. Depending on your subscription level, as a WWE fan, if you're like, I watch every Royal Rumble, I watch every Raw, I watch every Rob, hit me with a couple more of the big ones.
Bikini wrestling.
There it is. Anyway, you're like, if you're a diehard, I watch every WWE event, and I think we all probably know people in our lives that are that person. It's going to cost them annually anywhere from $400 to $800, depending on your subscription level. And then my understanding is that within ESPN, you're going to have to buy a pay-per-view as well for like a Royal Rumble or something like that, or something. You know what I mean? Is that right? Does anybody know?
That's how it is.
I think it'll be
right now for UFC. I pay $15 a month for ESPN Plus. I think I get like Hulu and Disney, if I'm not mistaken. But then whenever there was a UFC fight, I would have to pay another $70.
Yeah, so I mean, talk about the inaccessibility of, and I know WWE, you can call it a sport, you can call it not a sport, however you feel about it. It's totally inaccessible now. That's kind of crazy to me. Like I feel like they're fucking themselves.
Yeah.
For
but
me,
people are going to pay, right?
I mean, I try to think about this full circle because I think about growing up as a kid. Your buddy's parents got fucking SummerSlam or WrestleMania on DirecTV, and they paid however much it was, $80. Until I was older, and your buddy got the UFC night, and he paid $70, and we're all going over there chipping in, we're watching it. And as time's gone on, we've kind of aged out of that, right? I feel like you said, with these third-party websites having these events readily available, Dana White's been, I feel like, at an uphill battle the last few years, just trying to battle these pay-per-view events to try to retain and make that money back. And obviously you had that deal with ESPN, which to Isaiah's point, or we've talked about it, ESPN app is one of the worst. ESPN Plus, it's probably one of the worst apps to navigate in the history of streaming. I thought I had paid for something. I didn't get it. I couldn't find it. I think it was Iowa State games were supposed to be on there, and I could never get it to work. But point of that is they had a deal with ESPN. I think it was like 5 to 7 years for $1 billion total, and now he's doing a little over $1 billion a year with Paramount. And does it grow the sport? I think that's where UFC is. Just, I mean, if you can log into an app to watch it now, or CBS or however they kind of deploy it, I think it's going to grow the sport. I think you're going to see it in spots that didn't have a TV in the household, maybe use their iPad. I think it's going to grow the sport. I think it's going to have positive effects. Paramount dishing out all this money, though, it makes me wonder kind of where the fuck they get money from, because they also paid South Park. And
they paid
I
South
don't know
Park a billy, bro.
And they're giving USC over $1 billion a year.
They paid a cartoon $1 billion.
Yeah. which
Shoot.
I understand Paramount is a conglomerate, right? Because also the last thing I wanted to add was they kind of started on Spike TV. Dana White really pitched it there, and now who owns Spike TV, which is Paramount. So it kind of comes full circle for them to where they're making a shit ton of money off of it. But let's hope the money goes back into the fighters. Let's hope this money makes its way back into the presentation. Maybe drive the ticket sales down a little bit because just to be honest, you and I going to a UFC event and a UFC event isn't something we can do a couple times a year. That is,
It might be
hey, buddy,
once
we
in a
went back to
lifetime.
2005. Well, we might go again in 2040, bro. Like, that's what it is. So hopefully it makes it more readily accessible and
So,
it's all good.
Rob, you had made that comment about like the financial side of it. So the deal was 7.7 billion, right, for the UFC. That is higher than the market cap of Paramount Skydance. They are valued at just under $7 billion, and they're out here handing out almost $8 billion deals, which is pretty
Hey,
crazy.
they had Mahomes' agent. They wrote that thing to backload it. They'll be all right. They're going to have the money down the line. It's all good for Paramount.
But then the other part, or I wanted to go back to the whole ESPN and NFL thing, because there was a lot now that I like think back and like remember it. So on top of not just Red Zone going to ESPN now, they're also acquiring the NFL network and other media assets. And the NFL is getting a 10% equity stake in ESPN. Is that not like, I am sorry, but how much more hypocritical can we get where the NFL's like, they're going to scold the shit out of any player that so much as thinks about gambling, and yet some of their biggest sponsors are different books, and now they literally own 10% of ESPN, who has a sports book. Like, it is so hypocritical. Like, the conflict of interest is screaming in your face right now. Like, how can we believe in the integrity of our beloved game anymore with all this?
You still believe in it?
I try to.
I mean, we are. Once this contract's in, what does this stop ESPN from putting updated odds put onto the field, like televised? Like all of a sudden, it's like, hey, second and short odds are changing live on the field for the broadcast.
Don't they already have an alternate like broadcast doing that?
Oh, I'm talking about on ESPN Monday night. There it is, 50-yard line while Patty Mahomes is marching downfield. Rob, you might love that.
Like what?
Having the odds displayed on the field like a first down yellow line.
Bro, when you think about it, the
Mid-broadcast.
future, they'll have TVs set up eventually where that will be a thing, where like the live odds will be bouncing across the screen. Like, you know how like when you're watching movies now, it'll pop up like the song or like the actor that's in that scene. It'll be the same thing.
You watch an Amazon Blueprint, huh?
Yeah, it'll
That's
be
what I
it'll
see.
be the
Okay.
same thing with NFL games or just sporting events in general. Well, where they'll have lines like on the TV, and you can attach your account, your gambling account to it probably, and just live bet it while you're watching it. Don't even have to open your phone, I bet.
To me, this deal, I mean, I read into it, Irv. You and I talked offline about it. I mean, when you think of ESPN, which obviously we all know is Disney, they've tried the sports betting app, didn't work, or hasn't worked, and now they tried ESPN Plus, what Isaiah mentioned earlier. Supposedly that's not doing too well either, and now they're doing a direct-to-consumer subscription service. I think it's getting released either in the fall or end of August, and that's where you're going to be able to have some packages and some deals that way. I mean, to me, it's just streams. We're going to have college red zone probably, right? I think that's inevitable. I hope NFL, because right now if I tune in the NFL, I want in-depth football shit, something about the combine. I just hope First Take and all this other bullshit doesn't get moved over to NFL, and we're listening to fucking Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith round 2. I want some. Hopefully they keep a little bit of it, but I know how ESPN does things.
At what point is like a anti-monopoly trust going to step in? Because who are the two providers of sports news reporting? Fox and ESPN? Is that legal?
You got TNT in there too still.
It doesn't feel good. It feels like it's going to get way more expensive to be a fan of the NFL, a fan of WWE, if that's your thing. UFC is seemingly doing it right, in my opinion. And Rob, you were 100% right. Like, shout out to Dana White for where he's brought that thing. I didn't know they paid Spike TV, bro.
Yeah, it was a bad. Back in the day, it was bad.
Yeah, uphill for sure.
I know what he's doing to celebrate. Insane. He's in the back room at the fucking Bellagio. He's got a fucking briefcase of just hundreds. He's ready to lay down on some Baccarat or whatever the hell game he's into right now. Also, for those not watching on YouTube right now, Herb, what the fuck are you doing? Drinking out of a fucking measuring
That's not cup? What you were drinking out of a second ago. Why'd you switch?
What?
My cup?
You were drinking out of a regular cup 30 seconds ago.
Been drinking out of this the whole time.
No shot.
Dude, there's no way you're down that bad.
Did do dishes, bro.
I got my clean dishes right now. It's got a handle.
I'm so fucking floored right now. Holy
I could have swore I saw a regular cup in your right hand about 4.5 minutes ago. Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you guys. I wanted to see how quick it would take you to notice. Pretty quick, fellas.
Dude, I was extremely concerned there for a second.
You've never drank out of a measuring cup?
In what fucking world would I need to?
In Isaiah's house, they had 38 cups in the cupboard.
You should go see my cupboard right now. There's got to be a billion in there I could choose from. And they're a lot more accessible to get to than a measuring cup.
I got about 6 cups in this place.
And no way you're going through all 6 of them without cleaning a couple of them.
They stay fairly clean. No, I literally did this just to fuck with you guys, but I have drank out of a measuring cup before.
God, that's fucking weird. It's almost as weird, I will say, as the weirdos that are going through college football players' Venmo accounts from 3 years ago to uncover that John Mateer potentially, maybe allegedly, bet on a USC UCLA game back in 2022 when he was a redshirt freshman at Washington State. That's wild.
I think it's fake.
Hey, my boy didn't even do nothing.
Wait, expand.
Free my boy.
Wait, Rob, expand. Fake how?
So it's a Venmo. You're a freshman college. You playing college football. You're not going to Venmo your boy and be like, USC versus UCLA September 9th. Like, bet. You're not going to do that.
Wait, don't be so quick to say no. I think you would know better than a lot of people. There are some morons that get into Division I athletics.
I was real concerned with where you were going. I thought there was going to be a slight in there.
No, not at you. But this is definitely something where there's a college kid out there that would be dumb enough to do that. Especially back then when wasn't as
he's sitting
prevalent.
5th string at Sam Houston in the tight ends room. Okay? And this kid, Rob, I'm 100% on board with you. In the age of Photoshop, AI, I think it's all bullshit. He even came out and put out a statement saying this is absolutely false. Like, this is not real.
What do you expect him to say?
The truth. I think that's the truth.
I do too. I think it's absolute bullshit. I bet you
Rob,
I would be more concerned if he's sending $500 for pizza under a hidden thing than it is for actually putting the fucking game.
Rob, isn't that exactly what all the Iowa State players said a couple years back when their whole gambling scandal came to light?
I don't remember any Venmo or any. They were using their mom's. I know one was using his mom or his uncle's account,
Yeah.
and it came from his phone.
Yeah, but when
they're
they
not sending a Venmo
but
money.
when they are asked, they're like, "Well, that wasn't me."
Yeah, but that's a little bit different because you can pinpoint the phone location and shit like that. This is like a random Venmo on a Tuesday night. Because like when I send Herb stuff, or if I sent my daughter money, like I put random shit in there. I'm not putting exactly what it's for. So he at that time he was what? Was he at Washington State then?
Yeah.
Is that where he was?
Yes.
Dude,
I
think anybody
I
who's
think my
going through,
boy's good.
same. I think anybody who's actually going through Venmo, first of all, who's sending public Venmos anymore? There's a private button for a reason.
Yeah.
Even if it is for rent, it's nothing crazy. It's not you're buying guns and 70 pounds of weed, okay? But like, who's doing that publicly? Number one, even paying for pizza. But two, who the fuck has the time to go and just go through and like a Twitter feed, seeing who's sending who what? Why is it even a function?
And John Mateer of all people too.
Dude, this stinks like it comes out of Austin, Texas. This stinks like it's burnt orange. Don't give me
The
this.
problem is it's translated to what Herb said is a bunch of AI. So I'm seeing a bunch of looking at this so-and-so's player. So like a Minnesota Vikings fan makes one or whatever the case is. It's kind of being the new meme now. It seems like that players are creating or people are creating this this Venmo thing.
Oh yeah,
but
I've already seen one. You guys remember Brian Bosworth back from in like the 80s?
The Boz, yeah.
The Boz.
Yeah.
And when he played it at Oklahoma, I think he played at Oklahoma too.
You did play
it was
Oklahoma.
like if they had Venmo in the 80s and it was just like him being like paid so and so steroids. Just like repeatedly.
Yeah.
But the supposed game in question here, though, absolute banger of a game, if true. USC ended up winning that game 48-45. So he just knew that the over was smashing that night.
I mean, even if you do it and you pay your boy, bro, you're putting dinner there or something like that. You're not putting the actual game.
Dude, so but like the AI thing, you guys heard about the TCU quarterback, right?
Oh yeah, he's a furry.
100% fake. Like
I
came out fully debunked. This is just that stinks like it came out of Austin, Texas too.
See, I
anyway.
was talking to Rachel about that, my wife, recently about that. About how there's a lot of because she showed me a AI video.
You about to tell us she's a furry?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't judge.
So.
Listen, I love you for you.
Did you guys see the video recently on TikTok of like these bunnies jumping on a trampoline or something? Yeah. Rachel showed that to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's sick!" Like I never had seen that before. Find out the next day that was fake, and it just made me realize that I am so incredibly fucked for the future because I can't distinguish shit when it comes to AI unless it's like a talking baby, and then I'm like, yeah, that's for sure not real. But if it's something like this, I have no idea how you're even supposed to tell.
Respectfully, you also have one of the worst bullshit meters I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that is not true at all.
I could see that.
That is not true. That is unfounded.
I love you. You're very gullible.
No, I am not.
Do you know the people that like your parents or your grandparents to read something on Facebook and take it as gospel or they saw it on the news that night?
Yeah.
Isaiah, you streamed that, brother.
Brother. What?
Like when it comes to citing sources, you just gotta you see a video and I think it's crazy. I Google it, see if there's out there anywhere. I'm trying to find sources before I commit to saying it's real.
No, Rob, I've known Isaiah longer than you have, and that's not like a look at me thing, but I'll give him credit. I don't think he's that bad. But Isaiah, if I came to you convincingly, I think I could sell you on quite a few things.
If it's sports related, I doubt it.
Multi-level marketing.
But if it was like some like
hey, you ever been to Fort Lauderdale?
If there was
some in Fort Lauderdale,
if there was some like real world facts that you were trying to bullshit me on, you probably could get me. But if it's anything sports related, you're not pulling one over on me, unless it's a TCU quarterback being a furry.
100% debunked.
Supposedly.
I'm blaming all this on Austin, Texas. Hey, real quick, I want to know, and maybe we should tweet at this guy. Did the bet hit?
Dude.
Did it?
It never happened.
Hit? It didn't
Allegedly.
happen.
Allegedly.
It didn't happen.
Allegedly.
I'm on the boat of it didn't happen.
Allegedly.
'Cause he's playing in the Pac-12 as well, then, right? Was it the Pac-12 at that time?
Yes.
Washington
It was
State.
still the Pac-12
Yeah.
then.
So USC was probably the Pac-12 too, then, right?
Yeah, that was the year Caleb Williams
was.
and USC almost made a run to the playoff.
Yeah, it seems silly, bro. I mean, who knows? We could all be wrong, and I'll admit it. If we find out. But as of right now, I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, we need one of those fan accounts that will keep track of all of the takes that we have, like freezing cold takes, and then they can just call us out immediately if it ever comes out that it was true, just to keep
Maybe
us
one day.
accountable.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, because I can't.
We are still looking for a producer.
Because I can't even remember what we did last week or talked about last week. To do that.
We talked about Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that fat fuck.
There it is.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Rob's losing it.
This is a perfect time where we can just throw up that picture, that meme, that
Nope.
We can't put that in here.
We can't put anything in.
What are you talking about? It's just Debo with his belly
Debo
out.
being a fat fuck, I guess.
Okay, guys, but going back to our conversation last week where we touched on the college football coaches poll being released. Yesterday, the AP poll was released, and not a ton of changes between the two. Rob, you probably have a better idea of the big ones that I'll let you touch on in a second. The big piece coming out of this one, I would say from my perspective, is it's essentially the SEC and Big Ten make up almost the entirety of the top 25. They have 16 teams in. SEC is a little bit more top heavy. I think the numbers were 7 of the top 11 were from those two conferences, and 11 of the top 15 were from those conferences, which is kind of ridiculous. And I understand the gripes that some people have, like Tennessee, for example, being ranked 24th is pretty bewildering with the amount of turnover that they had. And I know a lot of teams have turnover now, but they literally lost their starting quarterback after spring practices. Like, to put them at 24 seems bold, to say the least. But Rob, I'll throw it over to you if you do know of any big changes between the coaches poll and the AP poll that you know of.
I mean, the biggest difference, there's a few different changes. Obviously, the first one is number 1 and 2. The AP has Texas and Penn State. As with the coaches poll, had Texas and Ohio State. Obviously, going forward as we get into the season, I think we all agree that kind of the AP is leaned on as far as, the poll going forward. But the biggest difference, I would say, and obviously we just talked about them, but Oklahoma, who had a very rough year last year. I think they won 6 games. You could say they kind of had a wake-up call in the SEC. This AP poll has them 18th. And they weren't ranked at all in the coaches poll. Little small changes other than that. Teams it up and down. I think Tennessee was a little bit higher in one pool than the other. But I think the biggest red flag was obviously, for one, Oklahoma being ranked, and 2, them being ranked all the way as 18th. Because on the AP's website, it tells you, like, for instance, like Iowa State fell 7 spots just from the last week of last season till now. And you could say, okay, well, a lot of players left to the draft or left to the league, but what did Oklahoma do? Which I understand they got the quarterback as well as the coach from Washington State, but to be starting off at 18th overall, it seems a little rash, don't you think, boys?
It's high
Yeah.
for a team that won 6 games.
They're
doing that on branding and potential.
I will say the preseason polls are one of the dumber things in my opinions. It's only one of those things for like the history buffs where they can look back and be like, USC has been started preseason number 1 X amount of times in their history. Like, we have no idea really. Like, we could have a general idea of who the really good teams are, but once you get past like 12, 15, nobody knows. And how frequently that changes throughout the year too is you can't even keep track of it. You have teams jumping in and falling out every single week. For us to be sitting here beginning of August and trying to determine who the 20th best team in the country is ridiculous, especially in this environment that we're in with college athletics. Half these schools have completely new rosters. Like, how are we supposed to have any type of idea of how well they are going to play this year?
Yeah, I think to your point there, there are a lot of schools that I actually see it a little bit differently. I wanted to say because like college football, by the way, the countdown is 11, just under 11 days till college football kicks off, which is Iowa State at Kansas State and Ireland. Um, I kind of love the polls, man. When they get it right, when you Monday morning, I go into work, I pull up the poll, see where everyone's at. I love it. Preseason, I get Isaiah, where you're like, you know what, you don't know what to expect. Like for instance, Miami has Carson Beck now, not Cam Ward, and they probably added 12 more starters. And to me, that gives a team a chance to prove itself. I don't think the AP should be predicting what that starter is going to do. I think they should base it on last year, kind of roll it in. And if Miami shoots up, great. If they go down, great. I think they let Miami climb 10 spots just from Carson Beck taking over for Cam Ward.
Like when,
So it's
like if you think about it, it's not like you wouldn't put the college football committee in a room early August and be like, okay, let's put together our rankings to start the season, and they would know better than these fucking journalists that are the ones voting on it for the AP.
I don't know. Did you see the playoff matchups last year? I don't think they know fucking shit.
More, I feel like they have more credibility than the journalists that get a vote, but that's just me personally. I don't know.
Hey, can I mention two quick teams? You guys have mentioned one already.
Yeah,
I'm going to give some love to the AP that they took into account who's playing quarterback for these teams. Tennessee, 18 in the coaches, 24. You lost Nico, plain and simple. Okay. The biggest one for me, and I had a gripe about it last week, was BYU. You lost your all-world quarterback. The AP took that into account. And I don't, the coaches, it's like, well, it just kind of happened. It happened 2 or 3 weeks before the coaches came out. It could have changed in a hurry. So I appreciate the AP for putting BYU outside of it because I don't think BYU is going to be a very good team without that quarterback.
I will say the one thing I'll call out is the lack of love for any non-power 5, power 4 group of 5 teams. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's just Boise State. They're at 25. And if you look at in the small print at the bottom where it says others receiving votes, there's only a couple, and they are getting minutes.
Hey, James Madison has some, bro.
A grand
some
total
respect
of
on their name.
9. Like it's
don't hate on Tulane, baby.
But I'm just saying,
Tulane got 23 votes now.
But I'm just saying, it does. I'm glad that they have changed the college football playoff where at least one group of 5 team is.
Yeah, but then it gets ugly.
Sometimes
it gets ugly quick, bro.
Hey, Boise State won a game last year. Oh no, wait, no, they got a bye and then they lost.
Not.
Yeah, never mind.
I mean, it's fun and interesting as far as like playing in Boise or playing, in Indiana during the middle of the cold. Like there's a lot of fun aspects, but let's be real here. The schedule is a lot more harder playing in. I mean, even from the SEC to the Big 12. I mean, there's definitely a scale, and I think they gave Boise State a lot of respect last year because of what Genti had going on. And I think they gave him a lot more respect than a normal team like Toledo or somebody else would have got. And to still have them ranked is kind of mind-boggling to me, but I get it. You threw them in there. You threw them in there last, I think, at 25th. But you got to do a lot to not only get the recognition of the AP pool, but to also stay in the AP pool.
I guess the point,
as a small school,
I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I feel like we went to the college football playoff because we wanted to give more, like, quote unquote parity. I don't know if that's the right word, but making sure that everybody had an equal shot, quote unquote, to make it. And it still seems like it is a mountain that all these group of 5 teams have to climb to get there. Like you could have Boise State, let's say they end up with the best group of 5 team, and they're only at 12. You could have another one sitting at 13, and they're not even going to get talked about as a potential playoff team. I don't know. It's just I don't like seeing just 2 conferences, and I know that that's going to be what we see now moving forward. Hate seeing 2 conferences just dominate the polls, though. Like, I liked being it. Like, I remember back in the day where they were just as much a fan of their conference as they were of their team within said conference. Like, if somebody like Herb, I know you would know well, like whenever people would bring up the SEC and say it's a better conference than the Big Ten, and it'd be like, no, I'm standing on business, defending the Big Ten.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like that has definitely gone to the wayside in
Hey,
the last couple of years.
listen, or you could be, was it UCF it was UCF, wasn't it? Or USF that called themselves or FAU. It was one of the smaller Florida schools that went undefeated.
UCF with Scott Frost.
Yeah. And they dubbed themselves the national champions or some bullshit.
Yeah, they have a banner. I'm pretty sure they still have a banner hanging up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Post the clip right here. Post the clip right here.
Who?
UCF. I believe that was
UCF?
the year before Scott Frost went to Nebraska. I believe. Don't quote me though.
Yeah, I think they got rings and everything, bro.
No way.
But you got to think, because he was like, we need the respect, we deserve the respect, which I understand. But also, bro, I mean, when you go to a small school like that, you know that the AP is not looking at you like they're looking at a fucking Alabama that has to play Tennessee and has to play Texas and has to play all these big name schools. Because then you let that program in, you let a James Madison or whatever in the college football playoffs just to see them lose 73-3 on the opening night of the college football playoffs. I mean, that's not fun for anybody. It's fun if they got a chance, and I get all that, but we also like to see some competitive football during the college football playoffs, which is kind of a catch-22, I guess.
I mean, in fairness, Florida State, the year that they were undefeated and didn't make the playoff and then had to go play Georgia in the Peach Bowl or whatever the fuck it was, they ended up losing 63-3. So it's not just small schools.
Well, didn't they,
they
also
lost their
have
head
like
coach.
Don't care. Don't care.
Quarterback and
don't
half
care.
the roster and
yeah, I'm looking at the picture of the UFC stadium. They literally have it on the stadium saying 2017 national champions, or at least they did.
Sick. What are we doing here?
Okay. Anything else you guys want to say about college football? About the polls?
I'm glad that we're 11 days out. Rob, what's the very, very early prediction for this Cyclone Wildcat game? Just real brief.
It's tough. I'm hoping. I think neutral site, both traveled. Both are doing a lot of these outside of football activities going on. I think it's going to be – we watched the Ireland game last year. I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I'm hoping Matt Campbell has the boys ready. I'm hoping it's kind of a run-heavy team. We got 2 running backs on the Doak Walker watch list. I'm hoping Abu Sama and Carson Hansen kind of take Kansas State out back.
I can't wait to hear all the stories of Iowans going over there and go,
Yeah.
Let me get a bush light.
Yeah.
Sir, we don't have that shit here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully it's a fun game. Hopefully the Ireland loves it. Hopefully I think it seems like wherever Iowa State fans travel to, it seems like those fans, appreciate them. So hopefully they do Ireland well. I'm hoping it's a good experience for everybody.
Oh no, all I gotta say is you better get used to hearing the name Avery Johnson because he is about to run shop over there in Dublin.
How did he do last year against Clones?
Yeah.
Oh no. How did he do? Enlighten me. I have no idea.
I can tell.
I know year before, obviously that Iowa State won last year, which was last November, 29-21.
Wins win, baby.
Avery Johnson is a dog. I'll give him that. But Rocco Beck, baby.
Heisman.
2 dark horse Heisman candidates.
Heisman favorite,
Yeah.
some are saying.
Some say.
And by some I mean Rob. But that's neither here nor there.
It's everywhere.
Okay. So that's
A
college.
little NFL.
Yeah, let's talk into the fun stuff. So for those that were living under a rock for the last week, NFL preseason officially here. Week 1 is in the books, and we got plenty to talk about. Obviously, won't get into everything from this weekend, but there are some storylines top of mind that I do feel we need to touch on. The first being obviously Shador.
Stop it.
Shador dazzling. Emphasis on the dazzle in his NFL debut down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will give it to him. I had my doubts on him and just how he played in college, but he looks spry out there. Boy has a little bit more juice to him than I thought from his Colorado days. Picked up a couple first downs with his legs, and he made some really good throws. Like that first, he had 2 touchdowns. That first touchdown that he threw was a dot.
Yeah, Shador, I mean, give him credit, man. He definitely proved a lot of people wrong. He went out there, he did his thing. Some of those plays were very pretty. I don't think they asked a lot of him. And Herb, as we mentioned in the group chat, I think they built whatever offense they're running, because a lot of these teams aren't running their actual offense. They're doing a scheme built for the preseason. I think they did it to showcase Shador and what his strengths are. So good job for them over there. As of right now, he's still 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. But if you're a Browns fan, you got to have hope in what you saw at least, right? He could have went out there and fucking Tim boiled it up, but he went out there and put on a little show. So if you're a Browns fan, you got to be at least a little happy, a little excited. I mean, we've been down the block before, right? As a Browns fan, but Brown fans have. But yeah, hopefully they got somebody over there.
He looked comfortable at times. There are other times when he said, fuck it, I got to get out of here, a little too quick. Didn't make a lot of mistakes. They didn't ask him to do anything crazy. I think he's right where he needs to be, and I think the Browns should be happy about that. I don't understand why Dylan Gabriel didn't play in this game.
Wasn't he injured still?
Is he still injured? Is that why?
I thought he was.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are fighting an injury,
I think both him and Pickett were held out because they had those lingering injuries.
So that makes more sense, because I was confused as hell. I'm like, okay, Shador, solid. You're looking good. Shador looks like he's definitely going to make the team, right? It's really bad news for Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting how they go about roster building, because you don't want to waste 3 roster spots on quarterbacks, but you also just drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round and the 5th round.
Traded for one last year and then signed one this offseason.
Are they, like, how comfortable are you that they're going to pass through waivers so they can go to your practice squad is the question. Like, their ROI on those draft picks is going to be very bad if one of them ends up getting cut, or if not both, potentially still. But I will say, just from a locker room vibes, Shador is for sure QB2. It feels like his interactions that I've been seeing with him around his teammates and whatnot, it seems like he has some fans in that locker room already.
Yeah, it's the boys that he brought with him for that fucking entourage bullshit.
No, I'm talking about actual Cleveland Brown players.
Paid actors at this point. I don't want to sit here and knock Shador all night, but that intro was ridiculous. Yeah, he's probably a fine teammate. He's developing.
Yeah, I agree. I think the entrance, I mean, it was on par for what to expect, but it was kind of over the top. But to Isaiah's point, I mean, Myles Garrett seems to be about it. But to Herb's paid actor point, I mean, when you're Myles Garrett and you just signed this big deal and your potential franchise quarterback sitting right there, you got to like him a little bit, right?
I feel like it is very bold to be throwing out potential franchise quarterback for a 5th round draft pick.
If Jamarcus Russell was there, Myles would contractually be obligated to say that to the media.
That is true.
I'm glad he's developing. He looked solid. If he's your week
Yeah.
one starter, boy, is it going to be a long year.
If nothing else, though, you at least put good film out there. I think that's
Yeah.
the big thing for the preseason, especially for these dudes that aren't going to be playing a whole lot in the regular season, and for all of the stigmas that have been around him over the last couple of months. For him to go out there for his first NFL game and put up solid numbers and look like he belonged to be out there, I feel like will help him out immensely down the line. But potentially, maybe not this year, but maybe next year, right? Who knows?
The only thing I want to add at the end of that is a lot of his success and where his future goes, at least when he's with the Browns, is going to be relying on that front office. We saw how they did Baker. A lot of people argue they did him wrong, right? And it's up to Shador. It's up to them to work with Shador. Do we sit him this year if we think he's his franchise? Let Uncle Joe teach him a few things. Do we throw him at the Wolves? Hopefully, whatever plan they have, it is best fit for Shador and his development and what he's got going on there. I have no ill will. Hopefully I just hope they don't fuck it up is kind of where I'm at, but I think they probably will.
I will say that's the one confusing thing from a Cleveland Browns perspective of these quarterbacks that they did bring in. I feel like none of them truly fit the offense that Kevin Stefanski wants to run. Like Kevin Stefanski is a pro-style play action type of offensive coach, and he's drafting Shador, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel, who all spend a majority of their time in college out of the shotgun, really not having to make calls at the line of scrimmage. That doesn't make sense to me at all. I guess they did it with Baker, but Stefanski was only there at the tail end with him. I don't know. It just seems
they
weird.
went to the. Hey, hold on. You're 100% right. They had that. They threw it away. Baker went to the playoffs with them, running that offense.
But even Baker, he didn't really fit that stereotype either. Out at Oklahoma, he was in the shotgun a majority of the time too, just slinging it.
Yeah, but Baker. God, I love Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield so much.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the curse of the Cleveland Browns. They've done this to themselves. This is all their fault. I want no tears for the Browns when they win 4 games next year.
When the what do they say? The chicken comes home to roost, or whatever that saying is. I think when you make bad decisions, like signing Deshaun Watson, letting Baker walk, which we can agree is a pretty bad decision, at least at this point, that comes back to bite you in the ass. And then that's kind of what we're seeing right now with where they're at.
Also, speaking of Deshaun Watson, just randomly, the owners already came out and said it was like hindsight, terrible move to do. Like shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have paid him the money. Shouldn't have traded the assets to get him. He's out this entire year with this Achilles. I know he's under contract through the end of next season. Why don't they just tell him to fuck off and just stop showing up? There's no way he is providing value being in that building at this point.
They're waiting for him to slip up on his contractual agreements, on his rehab, so they can cut him, and that frees them up. They're waiting for him to slip up. That's what this is, to save themselves millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, for me, I think that to Isaiah, to you saying, I think they are looking for that, and I think they found it, right? Didn't there was a video of him dancing when he was supposedly had a boot on and shit like that, or halfway across the world? Even when he was there, to your point, Isaiah, multiple times last year, he was up in the booth. He was, just not on the field helping his teammates and being there for his teammates like you would for a guy that's making $50 million a year to be your quarterback. Because, if Herbert or Burrow gets injured, if it's not preventing them from being on the field, they're going to be there helping, their guys. And Deshaun's like, hey, I'm just making this bag, getting married. I'm out hanging out. It seems like he might have fleeced the fucking Browns and the NFL, and he's ready to ride. I mean,
might have fleeced.
Who gives him a shot after
this?
this?
Fleeced.
Who gives him a shot after this? It's just he might have just had highway robbery.
Dude,
bro.
You know whose career he has a similar career arc to? Different sports.
Justin Tucker.
No, different sport. Okay, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that one. No, what I was gonna say.
God, that's going to be an incredible clip, fellas. That's going to be such a great clip.
Justin Tucker, boys.
No, what I was gonna say, the career arc that I feel like is very similar to Deshaun Watson. Ben Simmons.
Yes.
Ben Simmons was the top of his sport. Deshaun Watson, people were saying, was a top 5 quarterback before the whole scandal went down. And the fall from grace that both of them took, they're going to be out of their respective leagues within 5 years of their peaks.
Dude, I think I would argue Deshaun has been highly more productive and a better return on investment than Ben Simmons ever will be.
Yeah, Ben out of college. I mean, out of LSU, we thought he was going to be like a Magic Johnson or a point guard of the future, and he never developed his shot. He would go out and get you assists and rebounds, and then his back just always went out. It seemed like when it came down to a 4-game stretch, he's like, "Hey, my back, bro. I can do one of these, and then we're good. I can't do all 4."
I don't want to be that guy, but I called that back in the day. I don't want to be like, because there's no evidence like we have now for our takes. I called it back in the day. It's held true. Ben Simmons and Deshaun Watson. What a comp.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
Other NFL news. I don't even think Shador was the best rookie quarterback that we saw from this past weekend. I think that title has to go to Mr. Dart out there in New York. He had for a Giants fan and for what they've also had to deal with along with Browns fans, I would be very excited with how Jackson Dart looked on the field. And, like, there's talks of him potentially making a run at QB1, which I know is a stretch still, but they were talking about this being a gap year from like the start. And we're one preseason game in, and there's already like you're already getting the fan base hot and heavy out there thinking about the possibilities.
Don't blow your load early here, folks. Don't do it. Rob, you said it best last week when we did the preview. Best case scenario, he sits for the entire year. I know I said I think all 3 of them are going to get a start at some point. That might hold true. Best scenario, let him sit. Huge promise. He played incredibly. You love what you see. If you actually want to make this a thing, let him sit.
Yeah, I think for me, this goes to preseason in general, right? Because Isaiah, I know you said earlier, don't read too much into preseason and things like that. And I think when I watch preseason games, I'm just trying to take away some positives, maybe some things to work on. So, like what you're seeing from Shador and from Jackson Dart, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's say, hey, he looked comfortable out there. That's a positive. He made some great throws. That's a positive. And then, okay, let's leave it at that. We might have something. Next time he starts, okay, he's developing this. That's kind of where you got to take a lot of these preseason games, man, because you don't know who's out there starter-wise. You don't know what scheme they're running. Are they just doing a basic concept? And then come week 2 of the season, Jackson Dart can't read that coverage change, and we're throwing 3 picks in a game because they didn't do that in the preseason. So don't get too far ahead of yourselves, but be happy with where you're at in your draft pick. You can sit here and say Jackson Dart, as of right now, is not a bust. He showed promise, and let's leave it at that. And then progress moving forward. That's how I treat when I watch the Packers games. I know you're going to see a lot of either bad plays or development plays, but just try to take some positives out of there and try to think of some things that maybe they need to work on, seeing the division battles. But as of right now, they might have something in Jackson Dart. I think he looked very good out there on the field.
Definitely.
Looked a lot better than other quarterbacks, I'll tell you that much.
But sticking in that game specifically, did you guys have the opportunity to see some of the Abdul Carter highlights or all 22 of that? Dude, he was
good.
Rob, to your point, yes, we need to put a grain of salt when it comes to preseason tape and whatnot. But Abdul Carter was getting reps against Deion Dawkins, who is a very good offensive lineman. I don't think he's ever been an all-pro, but he's definitely been a pro bowler. He's the anchor of the Bills' offensive line. And he was making him look like a fool on a couple of reps. Like, it was scary.
And I'm pretty sure Dion came out after because they asked him about him, and he was like, "That kid's good. Like he's gonna be really good. Like that's a kid we're gonna prep for because you're gonna have to."
Like,
He was so good. He looked so comfortable, fluid, powerful. Deion Dawkins probably weighs about 350, and he had him up on 1 foot at one point in time.
yeah.
Abdul Carter might be the truth. And you know who?
Yeah.
You know who hated Abdul Carter's day?
I think
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Kayvon Thibodeau is sitting there going, shit.
Dude, there's talks like you had like former players or like an NFL analyst arguing that just based off what they saw in that game alone, that he's like an upper echelon defensive end already without even playing a real NFL snap yet. And I am hard pressed to disagree with them.
Boys, we gotta. I mean, I like what I see in Abdul Carter. I like maybe even a Titans fan being like, "Hey, that could have been our guy."
Mm-hmm.
But the guy played 6 snaps, boys. We got him off the
But dude, talk about the 6 snaps though.
The guy played 6 snaps. Who knows what concept that O-line's running? But I agree. You're seeing something there. He's a number 2 overall pick. There's got to be something there, right? And it is nice that they allowed him to go out there and get the 6-10 snaps in, which a lot of these starters are seeing. There's a yield sign there. I love what you see, but don't be, because you get too dived in. Abdul Carter is a defensive rookie of the year, and you're disappointed week 8 when he went 6 games without fucking anything.
Yeah,
so it's
that
like,
was me as a
be
Vikings
prepared.
fan watching Dallas Turner last year.
Yeah, be prepared.
Let that boy develop over there. Listen, I think Abdul Carter is a bona fide starter in the NFL. Let's let him develop. Be real interesting when they got to play the Eagles twice a year, and you don't get to pick a weak spot on that line. You're either going against Mailata or you're going against Johnson. Which one are you going to put him against? That'll be the real test.
Yeah. Okay. Outside of that, Anthony Richardson got
Nerd.
absolutely depleted this weekend.
Stinks.
Broke his pinky on the play. Their coach said that they were able to pop it back in, so he's day to day. They don't think it's going to be a long-term thing, but just another confirmation, reaffirm that Anthony Richardson isn't complete bust at this point, because if you watch the actual tape of that play, he just completely missed this dude coming unblocked off the edge before he even snapped the ball. Like, it was clear and evident what was about to happen, and he didn't try and slide protection, he didn't try and change the play, nothing, and just gets obliterated. So congrats to Daniel Jones. So congrats to Daniel Jones for being named the starter week 1. Was it his throwing hand? Yes, I believe it was. I can double check.
Somebody fact check that real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
Because if it's not his throwing hand and he's not out there, soft as fuck.
I mean,
now if it's his throwing hand, I get it. Tell me it's his offhand. Tell me it's his fucking offhand.
Right pinky. I'm pretty sure he's right-handed.
Okay, so right-handed.
But you're also talking about a dude that tapped himself out of an actual game last season. So would it really be out of character?
All I'm saying is the Michigan Stallions of the XFL UFL crossover are going to have a hell of a guy under center. Get him out of the league. Trash.
I'm not that. I mean, that play. I'm assuming I saw the play. I'm assuming he didn't either. For one, he didn't slide protections. There's people saying that it was on the O-line that they'd let him get fucking laid out. I think it was a thing of he didn't slide protection, or he was supposed to look. That's the one guy he has to look for, is the guy on his right side, and he didn't. And he got laid the fuck out, and it was a bad hit. And obviously, he hurt his finger. I agree. If it was on his non-throwing hand and he didn't say, "Hey boys, we're staying out here," I would have had something to say about that, especially with his track record. But I don't know, man. It's if your quarterback competition is you deciding between
yep
Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson as a fan, you're going home with your parents or with your friends, and you're like, boy, it's heating up, bro. I don't know who's going to take it. I don't know who's going to take it. That's a rough spot to be in, bro.
Dude, get him off your team, for the love of God. Just get him out
Hey,
of
but
there.
I have faith in White Lightning over there, baby. Bring it home, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, tough time to be a Colts fan. That's for sure. Let's see what else from this week. Don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but Bengals ownership management has to be freaking the fuck out at this point after their defense gave up 40 plus points in the preseason week 1. Because we already knew that their defense was going to be bad for this upcoming season, even with Trey Hendrickson. If you don't have Trey Hendrickson, oh, this is going to be a rough year.
Yeah, they look like shit. We spent all this money and time and effort rebuilding the defense. Just do that. Good luck. I hope Jamar scores 1,000 touchdowns for you this year.
Oh God, I get it's a preseason game. You don't have your starters out there. You're not really running much of a scheme. You have to have some type of pride when you're out there. Like, these dudes are trying to put out good tape because these are the dudes that are going to get cut, and they still gave up 40 points.
Yeah, they lost 34-27. I mean, Joe Burrow did have 2 touchdowns, by the way, which was nice. But if you are a Bengals, I think it is. I mean, it's not a everything's on fire, but it's like, hey, either whatever scheme or who knows what they run on preseason week 1. That's why I try not to dive too deep into it. But I will say, who would have thought Tanner McKee was going to come out there and light you up for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns? I guarantee that wasn't on their bingo card. Especially when they're not trotting, Devontae Smith or anybody out there. I think they were playing a lot of no-name dudes, man. I think Will Shipley didn't even get that many carries, if that tells you anything. So they were playing a lot of no-name dudes, and that defense did look bad. It's a red flag. I'm not in a sell-all mode. It was nice seeing Shamar Stewart on the field, by the way. I think that's a step in the right direction for the Bengals defense, but I was talking to my buddy earlier, bro. I was like, something we got to put in this perspective is when teams make the choices to give 3 players almost half of your salary cap, other places are going to suffer. And I don't think we think about that enough. When you give Jamar Chase, and I'm not saying it's not deservingly so, but Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins, I mean, roughly 150, 160 a year. I mean, your defense isn't going to be full of studs. Like, it's not going to be happening.
I mean, yeah.
Your O-line's probably going to suffer, and your other parts of your defense are going to suffer.
Yeah, go look at Dallas. They're doing the same shit down there.
Dallas ain't winning a lot of games.
Exactly.
Hey, a reminder, Tom Brady in his entire career was never the highest paid guy in the league because he knew what that meant.
I think and we can talk about it the way the NFL goes on, but I've just been thinking about that a lot with these. For instance, like, one thing that caught my eye was New Orleans and everything that's going on there with the salary cap we talked about. And the first thing in their mind was, let's lock up a rusher, who I like, but has never had a 1,000-yard season, and Alvin Kamara. That was their first thought in their mind this offseason was, hey, we got to go out and get Alvin Kamara and make sure he stays here as a Saint.
Yeah. Bad teams make bad decisions, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, fellas. Any other preseason? Anything else from this first week you want to mention?
Yeah.
No.
Holy knee injuries at practices. Holy shit. I feel like I get 3 notifications a day that somebody went down.
Yeah, I think that's been a theme, obviously, with Slater, who we talked about his deal. That's unfortunate. There's been a lot of other players that have either out for – I think Jordan Love just went under surgery today for obviously a non-throwing hand ligament issue. But, yeah, it seems like that's either it's a theme or we're just so readily available to it now. But, Isaiah, as far as wrapping up preseason, I enjoy the fuck out of preseason, bro. And that's just me being so balls deep and – the Packers' 4th stringer on the practice squad.
Pause.
What?
Your balls deep in a practice squad player?
It wasn't awkward till you made it awkward.
Pause.
I love the preseason because I enjoy seeing position battles. Like, for instance, for us, Rasheed Walker was injured. So he had Jordan Morgan and Anthony Belton, and they didn't give up a pressure all game. But on paper, you're like, they just played because they were supposed to play, but they showed something, you know what I mean? And that's what I like out of these preseason games. So if you got a chance, watch them. I know that's not for everybody. They're like, it doesn't matter. Our starters shouldn't be out there. The game's shit, but a lot of people are trying to make a roster and are really, giving it what they can out there. So I enjoy preseason.
Okay. That's fine. I won't judge you for it at all. I promise. I completely understand. I personally I just can't get as invested into players that more than likely are not going to have any sort of impact on the outcome of the Vikings season. I just like the storylines, the big storylines that are out there. That's what I'm following in the preseason, are those training camp battles, positional
You
battles
don't
and
like
stuff.
you don't like seeing Nick Mullins fucking Sam House fucking
No,
throw it up out there or what?
fuck no. Throwing a dude's named like Lucky Jackson. Still can't believe that's a real name.
Hey, at least Jordan Addison can suit up out there.
Oh, if I'm O'Connell, I'm making that dude be out there for a minute.
You're playing the whole game.
Yeah.
You're playing the whole game, and guess what? You're on kickoff now too.
Get your
I saw
cardio
him on
in,
the
buddy, because you
sidelines.
got 3 weeks where your ass is going to be standing there, not doing a thing.
I saw him on the sideline before halftime with his pads off, talking to Justin Jefferson on the sideline, bro. Kevin O'Connell doesn't have that same mantra that you have.
Yeah, it seems to be working out fine for him, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I never said I would be a good NFL coach. I'm a great armchair coach, though.
That's why we're here.
I'm a great Madden coach.
Jesus.
Okay, guys, let's wrap up the show with our NFL team or division preview. We're going to look at the NFC West this week, and we'll just go in the order of standings last season. So, for those who don't remember at home, the Rams won the division at 10-7. They beat the Vikings in the first round. I shouldn't say beat; they slaughtered the Vikings in the wild card round. Lost in the divisional. Had a couple of additions in Devontae Adams. He was the big named one, which really is more of a 1-year deal. I know it's technically 2 years, 40 million or something, but they have an out after one. And then for the real ball knowers, they brought in Puna Ford, D tackle. Departures, they had a couple. Jonah Jackson got traded to the Bears, and they lost Cooper Kupp, or more so decided to move on from Cooper Kupp. Draft, they brought in Terrence Ferguson, tight end from Oregon, Josiah Stewart, linebacker from Michigan, and Jarquez Hunter, running back from Auburn, are the big names to mention there. And the concerns or questions for this team going into the season is, one, is Matthew Stafford healthy? And two, if he is healthy, can he stay healthy for the entire season to make it back to the playoffs? And then the other, I would say, big question out there is, how reliable is their secondary going to be? I know that their front seven was very dominant at points last season, but they were relying on some depth pieces to make some plays this season, which could be a little scurry, which is why there was talks of Jalen Ramsey potentially going back, but that didn't come to fruition.
I think for me, I think you mentioned it, right? You hit it on the head. There's not a lot going on, I don't think, with the Rams, but the biggest thing for me is Matthew Stafford's health, right? We see him going in the chamber or whatever that fucking thing is. And it's been a thing since the Lions let him get beat up. It felt like every Sunday. He definitely has been put through the ringer, and his career has been kind of long. I'm not saying he's not still a guy, because he definitely is. But it's at a point now where at his age, and let's say he goes down week 3, what's your game plan?
Jimmy Garoppolo, baby.
I know Jimmy's there. I know Stetson Bennett's there. Is definitely, from Georgia, but it's definitely not, I would say, starter ready at this point. So When you see other teams, like we mentioned the Browns earlier, talking about the starter, like having a plethora of quarterbacks, look at the Rams. I mean, you have faith in Jimmy and Stetson if Stafford goes down, because we can all be honest here. Stafford doesn't have another 6 years in the league. I do like that you added Devontae Adams. I don't think that replaces or is above what you had in Cooper Kupp. But otherwise, that offense is still going to do some things. It's not going to carry the team. I think this defense is going to carry the team a lot. I like the front seven. I know we've talked about Braden Fisk, the Byron Young, the Jared versus. They just, and for me, I like that secondary, starting with their safety and Cam Curl, and they also have Quentin Lake back there. I like this defense, man. I do. I think it's young. It doesn't have a ton of depth, but they do have some dogs out there. I am concerned about the offense. I like Kyron. I just don't know what outside of Puka, which hey, my dynasty leading receiver, love you. It gets very grim after Puka because Devontae, you're like, this guy's here for a year or two. And then your next up is Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, and Xavier Smith. So I'm kind of puzzled on where they're going draft wise and what they're trying to work on. They did draft Terrence Ferguson. I do want to mention that, which is possibly their future at tight end. But as far as record we go, because we're definitely doing that. I think it's going to be a tough division over there. I think that the Cardinals and 49ers are going to give them some reps. But I think Rams, I hate being in the middle, man, but Rams are probably 8-9. I think 9-8. If something falls into place and they go on a run. Otherwise, it's going to take them a little bit to rebuild that offense up to what it could be.
I'm going with the thought, and it's an unfortunate thought, that Stafford will not play most of this season, unfortunately. Sucks to say, I'm not wishing injury on him, but if we're this close to the season and it's this big of a problem, what happens when he takes a hit behind this O-line that, let's be honest with you, is not healthy, is not young? They are an old, slow offensive line with an even older and slow quarterback. It's super, super unfortunate. Big time Stafford fan. They're going to be battling with Arizona for the bottom. But that is me basing it off of that Stafford is not going to play a majority of their games this year. I will applaud them what they did in the draft. They only had 6 picks, didn't have a first rounder. I like the guys that they got. They went depth. They're going to lean on the highlight of that team, and that is the defensive line in a big way. In a big, big way. You got 3 stars on that D line, so they got that going for them. Still like McVay. 5-6 wins, unfortunately. And again, that is all under the premise that Stafford ain't making it through the year.
Before you jump in, Isaiah, I do want to add losing Aaron Donald and backfilling that D line like they did. Props to them, because usually you have a gap.
Clap up here, boys. Let's give them a little clap up here.
But that D line is definitely something to write home about up there.
Yeah, they've definitely, or you kind of touched on it. Like, they have not had a lot of draft capital. I think they've had like 1 first round pick in the last like 6 years or something crazy like that. You have to applaud this franchise for being able to draft as well as they've had to get the depth pieces that they have. Like Kobe Turner out there on the D line was a 3rd round pick, and he is turning into a top tier player in this league. Very slept on player out there, along with Brian Young as well. He's also shown a lot. They both had 7.5 and 8 sacks last year. Like, this defense is nothing to like shake your head at. Like, this is a formidable defense that is going to keep them in a lot of games. That's for sure. But to Herb's point, I'm also scared of Stafford. Like, it just seems like when he is on the field, he's still a very good quarterback. He is a top 15 quarterback when he is healthy and is playing, in my opinion. I just don't know if you can count on him for more than 12 games anymore, which is you hate to say it, and especially as a Rams fan, you hate to hear it, but it's like you said, if we're already hearing these concerns now, it's not going to get better throughout the season. But I will say it would make for some great storylines if he does get injured and then Jimmy G steps in and then Devontae Adams stuck playing with Jimmy G's bum ass again after he did everything in his power to get away from him in Las Vegas.
Dude, I say start Stetson, baby. If you're at that point, start Stetson.
It is interesting to not know, like they don't really have a quarterback direction outside of riding Stafford till the wheels fall off.
You want to know what my conspiracy theory is for that too?
Hey, tinfoil hat, baby.
Yeah, tinfoil hat on. I think the reason that they have not gone out and tried really getting a predecessor successor for Matthew Stafford is because once he hangs it up, Sean McVay's following him out that door. So Sean McVay is like, I'm in win now mode. We are investing everywhere else except quarterback because I don't care who's going to be quarterback after I'm gone. That's my theory there. But like I said, I think the defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but the division itself, it's kind of a mixed bag of what we could see. I think I like where Rob's at, being 9-8, 8-9. I think McVay is just too good of a coach to really bottom out unless they have an absurd amount of injuries that they have to deal with. So I feel like that's kind of the floor. I feel like they, of all the teams, have probably the widest variance that you could see. Like I could see them finishing anywhere from 7-10 to 11-7. Like
6,
7, 6.
Math's hard,
dude. No, ever since they changed it to 18 game schedule, it throws me off. I hate it. So I wouldn't be surprised anywhere in that range of outcomes, but I'll land at 8-9. I feel like that's a good place for them. Obviously missing the playoffs there, probably finishing. I won't spoil it yet. I'll hold off on that. Next team to cover, Seattle Seahawks finished last season 10-7. Which was good enough for second in the division. However, they did miss the playoffs even with 10 wins. And this was a team that had a lot of changes this offseason. They've gone out and replaced Geno Smith with Sam Darnold, replaced DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett with Cooper Kupp and MVS, brought in DeMarcus Lawrence. The draft, I will say, I feel like they had some solid picks there. Not sold on Gray Zabel, the guard from NDSU, but I do love the Nick Emanori, the safety from South Carolina. He tested like a freak at the combine, so I think there's potential there, especially with a defensive minded coach like McDonald. Then they got Elijah Arroyo, tight end from Miami, and then Jalen Milroe from Bama, who had some flashes in week 1 of the preseason. It already sounds like they are going to roll out some packages for him to utilize his legs. So could be something there. Who knows? Questions for this team going into the season are, can Sam Darnold cement himself as a starting quarterback, build off the momentum that he had last year with the Vikings, or was it kind of a one-year wonder type of thing? We'll see. Can JNS sustain his breakout as wide receiver 1? He really took a leap in year 2. We'll see if he can sustain it moving forward. And then ChatGPT also said, will the resources invested into the defense pay off?
You're not coming up with these on your own?
Oh, no. I leveraged ChatGPT for a lot of this.
Hey, bro, you're in the matrix, bro.
Yeah. So I'll start off. This team is it's interesting. I still don't know how I feel about McDonald as their head coach. Still seems like a odd hire to me. I'm not a super big fan of defensive minded head coaches at this point with the direction that the league is going now. I feel like you need an offensive, like you need a Ben Johnson type, if not at head coach, in that building. And I don't think Kubiak. I don't know if Kubiak's still the offensive coordinator there, but it was Kubiak. Was his offensive coordinator for his first season. That's not going to do the trick, you know. Like you need somebody that you can let drive that offense and not have to worry about it, type of thing.
I was gonna say Mike Zimmer was your coach for a long fucking time.
Oh, he was our head coach for about 3 seasons longer than I would have had him personally. But I will say I am not super sold on Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback. I feel like he was set up in a position in Minnesota last season where it was very hard to fail. Like, one, the weapons that he had are drastically better than what he's going to have out there in Seattle. Two, he had Kevin O'Connell as his coach, who did everything in his power to make life easier for him as a quarterback, whether it be reads or scheming players open for him. I don't think he's going to get the benefit of the doubt or that those same opportunities here in Seattle with the offense that they are running. And then they just got worse at their skill possession players. Like to go from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to Cooper Kupp and NVS. I know JNS is still there, or Smith and Jigba, or JSN.
JSN.
I've been saying
There
that
it
wrong.
is.
Sorry, JSN. Sorry. I know he is there, but I don't know. I feel like Darnold needs to be in a very specific situation to succeed at this point, and I don't think Seattle has put enough around him to do that. And I don't think that their defense is good enough to keep them in a lot of games. So if their offense isn't clicking, they're not going to be able to rely as much on their defense, like a team like the Rams are able to do. So with that being said, I think I'm going to put the Seahawks at it would be 6-11. Yeah, 6-11. I think they'll be third in the division.
All right, boys. Time for me to go in on them, huh? Seahawks. I like Mike McDonald. I really do. I don't. Clint Kubiak is still the offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah,
Just
they're
take that
fucked. They're fucked.
Take that as you will. But when I look at this roster and that depth chart, I've never been. Obviously, Sam Darnold had that year that he had last year with Minnesota, but they didn't feel like they needed to pay him the asking price. They let him walk. Obviously, they had JJ waiting. But that tells me one of two things, that you are correct, Isaiah. I think certain quarterbacks might look a lot better in different schemes or things like that. I mean, that's just part of football. So it'll be interesting enough to see how Sam Darnold, he has a bad game or two. They have a couple packages for Jalen Milroe, and he kind of shines in those. All of a sudden, the 12th man's asking for Jalen to kind of take the reins. But the wide receiver room too, I agree. Losing DK and also Tyler Lockett is a huge locker room leader. I think those are huge. You replaced it with Torrey Horton, which is a 5-6 year guy out of Colorado
He
State.
balled out week 1.
Preseason.
So, yes, but he did ball out.
Cooper Kupp, which obviously stays healthy, he's an asset there. But I agree. I think past that, I like JSN, but outside of that, it gets very bleak. They did get Arroyo, which is obviously the tight end out of Miami with AJ Barner. I know Herb, you're going to talk about the other tight end there, so I'll leave that to you. Running back room, Kenneth and Charbonnet. Obviously, Herb, I know you're high on Kenneth or have been in the years past. I think that running back room is fine. And to me, Isaiah, I think this defense can do some things. I'm not going to say they're as high caliber as the Rams per se, and what we just saw in the Rams review, but I do think this defense can make some plays. I think with Tariq Woolen and Witherspoon back there in the secondary, and you got some guys up front. I don't know if they're going to do numbers, but I do think it is possible. I think this is a weird year for Seattle, kind of see what they're about moving on from Geno and DK. But I agree. I think it's going to be a rough year. I think we see 5-6 wins out of them, and obviously miss the playoffs. I think it's going to be a weird year, just trying to figure out what's sticking, what's not, who's our quarterback, who's not, and trying to go from there.
I'm going the complete opposite of you guys on this one. I think that Mike McDonald and his staff and the GM knew that if we're going to go out and get Sam Darnold, we damn well better know how to use him. If we're going to pay him all this fucking money, we damn well better know how to use him. If you look at this team, if they figure it out, they're going to be fast and they're going to try and score a fuck ton of points. I think if this team figures it out, it's going to be fun. I think we're going to be seeing a really, really fun team, a hype team up in Seattle, to be honest with you. Their O-line they were already rebuilding it. It was solid. It got even better with Gray Zabel. I'm huge on Gray Zabel. You go get Kupp. There's your leader in the wide receiver room. He's going to teach JSN a couple things. He's going to teach Torrey Horton a lot of things, right? Their defense. Look at their secondary. Look how young and fast that secondary is. It's incredible. I really like. You got guys who can go after the quarterback. You've got run stoppers. You got Jaron Reed. That used to be one of your boys, Rob, up there, right? You got DeMarcus Lawrence. You got veteran leadership. You got Leonard Williams, who's really in the prime of his career at this point. I really, really like this team. And hey, you said I appreciate you giving me the floor on the tight ends, Rob. I really, really do. I appreciate that in a big way.
Take it away, big dog.
I like Barner. Arroyo is seemingly gaining a lot of fans on that coaching staff. Okay. But the third string quarterback, the homie. Tight end. What I said, quarterback? My bad. My bad. Third string tight end, Eric Saubert out of Drake University. Veteran guy, will do anything you ask him to do. I can't wait to watch this guy up in Seattle. I feel bad. They cut Noah Fant like 3 weeks ago. It didn't make much sense. I like their tight end room a lot. Dude, if this team figures it out, I'm talking 10, 11 wins, battling at 2 for the division lead. That's the way I'm going with Seattle. I think it's going to be fun.
Hey, Herb, can you reach out to Saubert to film a little like cameo for us that we can put in with our clip, like right here?
We might just have to ask him to come through.
You also have failed to mention that the reason that you're shouting him out is because you played with him
Drake Bulldog
as a Drake Bulldog. That is the key piece of information that you're missing here.
Yeah, no, I said he was the homie, and I really meant it. No, I played with Eric for a number of years. Drake. Love the guy, great guy.
Some say best player to ever come out of Drake University.
I would argue he is the best pro to ever come out of Drake. I mean, it's between him and Billy Cundiff at this point.
It would have been Johnny Bright if Oklahoma State didn't.
Hey! Don't bring that up. Hey, it was a deliberate slug. Mm-hmm. It was uncalled for. It was racist to the core. How dare they? Johnny Bright. Hey, give Drake University a Heisman posthumously, please. He deserved it. Shout out Johnny Bright. Shout out Johnny Bright Field. Sco Dogs, baby.
What I do want to add before we move on to another team is, Isaiah, you didn't talk about Sam Darnold much, even though he was your quarterback last year. But I do want to say Sam Darnold might have the processing power of a 1997 Windows computer. So I've seen him.
What a take. Don't quote us. What a take.
I've seen him last year when I've watched Minnesota games just try to break down the coverages and things like that. And he would get, I mean, you can see where the processing is definitely slower than you would see out of a and I think Justin Jefferson and obviously Addison made Sam Darnold look a lot better than what he is. Because obviously it didn't work out for the Jets. It didn't work out for the Panthers, 49ers. Now we're coming on our 5th, 16.
I think it was more O'Connell. Like, you've seen O'Connell turn some bums into serviceable quarterbacks. He had people thinking Josh Dobbs could be a
Hey,
starter in the
put some
NFL.
respect on Dobbs.
Like, that's wild, you know?
He
Like,
couldn't figure out Kenny Trill, whatever his name was. Couldn't figure out that kid. A&M kid, huge arm.
oh,
Hell of
Kellen
an
Mond.
athlete.
Kellen
No, I
Mond.
thought there wasn't. It was a Kellen Mond.
Yeah.
I thought they had
That was
Kenny.
that was a Zimmer pick.
Oh, my apologies on that one.
To your point, Isaiah, though, I think that is true, right? I think these offensive masterminds, obviously,
You need one.
we did it with Malik Willis last year for the Packers. I mean, LaFleur just built an offense that Malik can run comfortably and just let him go. And O'Connell can make a Nick Mullins look decent, and these other guys look serviceable. And it's like, okay, how much is it the scheme that this offense is working for him? Is Kubiak going to give Darnold that same treatment over there in Seattle? I don't know. I think we'll learn a lot about where Sam Darnold is in his development, where he is as a starter this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to reiterate my point, the offensive mind is so necessary in today's league. Like, you had to think, before Goff was in Detroit with Ben Johnson, he was viewed as between like a 15 and 20 if rated quarterback in the NFL. Ben Johnson had him playing like a top 10 quarterback, and I don't even think it was debatable these last 2 seasons. So you need I know there's been a lot of, like, in the past where, as like a quarterback, you should be the one that's able to elevate the players around you. I think as an NFL coach, you should be able to elevate. Like, if you're a defensive coach, elevate your defense. But if you're an offensive-minded coach, you should be able to elevate the most important player on the field, which is the quarterback. So we'll see. Not sold on Sam Darnold. I also, Rob, didn't talk about him a lot because he left a really bad fucking taste in my mouth when he absolutely got slapped around for the regular season finale, when we could have gotten the 1 seed and with that a bye in the playoffs, to then getting the 5th seed and then again getting slapped around by the Rams. So that is why I did not talk a lot about Sam Darnold. Okay, moving to team 3, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Last season finished 8-9, third in the division, missed the playoffs. They added a lot to their defense this offseason. So additions, they brought in Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles, brought in Dalvin Tomlinson, nose tackle. Calais Campbell is coming back to Dirty A. Then in the draft, they took Walter Nolan, D tackle from Ole Miss, Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan, who has received raved reviews during training camp. There's been a lot of questions of how he dropped to them in the 2nd round. They also drafted another D tackle from Oregon, and then a linebacker. Oh, sorry. The D tackle from Oregon was Jordan Birch, and then linebacker from Ohio State, Cody Simon. So they have invested in their defense. That's for sure. Departures, they didn't really have any. Patrick Peterson retired this offseason, which I feel like did not get talked about a lot. That was news to me. But areas of concerns or questions that need to be answered for this season. Can Kyler finally deliver on his potential? I don't know. I don't think people are forgetting, but he was a 1st overall pick, and he's had a very ho-hum career thus far. I know he's had some injuries in the past, but it seems like he starts the season hot and he just disappears towards the end. Then you got Marvin Harrison Jr. Really hope that he can make a year 2 leap with the hype that he had coming in as a rookie last year. And then going back to that defense, you bring in all these new names, but can they actually produce on the field is the real question. So, what are your thoughts? How are we feeling about the Arizona Cardinals out there?
I think Kyler's under contract till 2028. And I think people are sitting here like you just suggested, of like, oh, it's the make or break year for Kyler. I think that time has already passed Kyler. to be 100% honest with you. I think Kyler, we're going to see, will hold this team back from what they could be doing. And I don't want to sit here and rag on Kyler Murray because I don't have anything against him. I think he's a fine quarterback. He just doesn't help them go out there and win games. He's not the gamer that he once was or that we've seen. I think this is the beginning of the end for Kyler. While I still think even after this year he'll be their quarterback because of the contract situation, it's going to be rough, I think, on offense a little bit, despite great players like Marvin Harrison Jr. Shout out, putting on 15 pounds of muscle. The dude looks like a fucking tank now, which is awesome. And you hit it, dude. Their defense, I like their defense in a huge way. Their defense will keep them in games. I don't know that they're going to win them ball games. So, unfortunately, I'm going to start signaling the decline of Kyler, and the Cardinals will suffer. That being said, they're going to be battling with the Rams down at the bottom in my scenario. I'm talking 5-6-7 wins, somewhere in that range.
And that, Rob, before you go, I just wanted to point out, it is kind of crazy that Kyler has struggled so. I don't know if struggle is the right word, but when it comes to win and losses, he's struggled to win in the NFL because this was a kid in high school who I don't believe lost a high school game and then goes to Oklahoma and they're a national championship contender while he's playing. So like he had a track record of winning everywhere he's been, and it just has not translated to the NFL. And I don't know if you guys had saw that clip of his interception from this weekend.
Awful. It was one of the worst plays I've ever seen on a football field. Rob, did you see that?
What?
The Kyler interception?
No.
Oh God, you need.
Bro, he stepped up in the pocket to the left, turned his hips, and threw it to a defender, like lobbed it to a defender, square in the chest.
It was wild.
At about 15 yards.
Only incompletion of the day. But technically it was a completion, so he was flawless.
I can't get it. Yeah. Yeah, no, Cardinals, 6 wins. I'll give him 6 wins.
Okay, Robbie.
Yeah, for me, boys, I'm opposite on Kyler. I have faith in Kyler. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be a dog or an all-pro or anything like that, but I will say the Cardinals haven't done him any favors. And the reason I say that is you didn't give Cliff Kingsbury enough time. We've seen what he's done with Jaden, right? And I don't think you gave him enough time to implement that and do that with the Cardinals. Obviously, Kyler did come off as Offensive Rookie of the Year. He had a big first year. I think he had a 9-5 year in there, but he's been in the league 6 years. He's been a 2-time Pro Bowler, which we all know what a Pro Bowler is, at least in this day and age. But when you're looking at stat-wise, I mean, he'll go out and get you – if he plays a full season, he'll get you 30 touchdowns, 10 picks, and 4,000 yards. I think that's hard to come by these days. Back to the head coaching thing, I think the year before he got drafted, they got rid of Steve Wilkes, hired Cliff. Cliff came in when Kyler did, if I'm remembering correctly. So not only he started with a new coach then, and then they brought in Jonathan Gannon, who I'm not sold on. Seems a little weird for me when I see interviews with him and things like that. I could be completely wrong. I don't know if you guys know who this name is, but Drew Petzing is their offensive coordinator. Which Drew Petzing was the former quarterbacks coach with the Cleveland Browns. So if that tells you anything about that offensive coordinator, that's kind of what Kyler's working with. Now, back to the team at hand. Marvin did add muscle. Marvin looks good. Hopefully, he's his own person, doesn't have to live up to his dad, and he goes out and makes plays and does what he needs to do. I do like Trey McBride a lot, although he doesn't know how to score touchdowns. I do like Trey McBride.
Can't find it.
A lot. James Conner's supposedly they love Trey Benson. I know we haven't mentioned it yet, but they love Trey Benson down there. We're hearing a lot of good things out of camp. And then that wide receiver room, they went out and got Zay Jones and some other guys, but it's outside of Michael Wilson and Marvin and Dorsch, which I think got injured, right? I think Dorsch got injured last week. That defense, I do like Budda Baker a lot. I do want to highlight, and I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I do want to highlight Will Johnson. Somebody, for me, coming into the draft, watching the draft with Herb, we talked about him dropping. Potential top 10 pick, his knee, what's going on injury wise. Someone's going to take a risk. Somebody's not going to take a risk. And the Cardinals took him in the second round. And everything coming out of camp, he's running the routes for these wide receivers. He's NFL ready, obviously TBD. But as of right now, it sounds like a lot. And you brought Calais Campbell back, which is great. That defense might be able to do things. I don't know what they can do, but they can definitely do things. I have these guys a little bit higher than I do the Seahawks and the Rams, just because I want to give Kyler a chance. But I think they can squeeze out a 9-8, 8-9, 9-8 type season if everything goes well, injury free. That's kind of where I have the Cardinals.
Can I speak on Will Johnson just from? I left it for you, Rob, because every time we talk Cardinals, you love talking about them. I love talking about them. I left them for you, Noah, and I left that nice little gift for you there.
Yeah.
We talked about, and I hope you remember, we were sitting there watching the draft saying, yo, Will Johnson. Like, if he's falling, that injury must be way more real than anybody thought it was. Turns out we were all fucking wrong, because this guy is a bona fide game one starter, and I'm going to make the bold take, don't quote us, Will Johnson's winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
You do know Abdul Carter's a rookie as well, too.
I am aware. That's why I said it's a bold take. Hey, if we're not here to give bold takes, why the fuck are we here, baby? I'm calling Will Johnson Rookie of the Year, August 12th. Call it now.
Well,
take it away, Isaiah.
Really, all I have to add, honestly, is it just feels like this is a franchise, and I know we've said it about a couple of others as we've done these team previews, that just doesn't have a clear direction as to what the future is looking at, or like what they're building. Like, we are going on year 7 or 8 with Kyler at the helm, and it seems like they have just not done anything to make his life easier ever since he's been there, either between the different coaching staffs that he's had to work with to the weapons that they've surrounded him with. It just seems like they're making changes, but the changes are minimal or nominal at best, and it's just kind of a cycle that they are going through. Like, they're not investing enough to truly succeed, but they're not selling off everything to truly suck to get on another high draft pick, and they're just kind of lingering in that kind of no man's land in the middle. And I just don't see it right now. And to be honest, I feel like Kyler has kind of lost his glimmer in my eyes. I think at this point we know what he is and what he isn't. He can be a starter in the NFL, but I do not think that he is a winner in the NFL. I don't think he is a dude that he could potentially help you get to the playoffs. I don't think he's helping you win playoff games, though. So that's kind of where
I can't win stuff, man.
That's where I am with the Cardinals. Yeah, I don't really have much else. I said Seahawks 6-11, so Cardinals I have finishing last. So let's throw them at 5-12.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't like it. Okay, last team and probably the most interesting team potentially to talk about today. The 49ers, who due to a lot of injuries over there finished 6-11, which was last in the division, obviously. Additions, they didn't add a whole lot. Mac Jones comes in as backup quarterback, Luke Farrell, depth tight end. They did trade for Bryce Huff. They did bring in Andre Dillard. But then when we get into departures, boy, did they lose some pieces. They lost Deebo Samuel, lost Jordan Mason, lost Drake Greenlaw, lost Talanoa Hufanga. They lost Charvarius Ward. They lost Javon Hargrove. There was more. I stopped there but they've lost a lot of pieces. And then in terms of the draft, all they did to replace that was Mikael Williams, DN from Georgia, Alfred Collins, D tackle from Texas, and then the other relevant name was Jordan James, running back from Oregon, who probably is not sniffing a whole lot of the field outside of special teams this season. So the questions really come down to, can CMC stay healthy? How reliable will Trent Williams be? Can he stay healthy? And then what is the thought process with the wide receiver room at this point? Because you got Brandon Ayuk coming off a torn ACL. You got Jawan Jennings, who's already requested a trade. You got rid of Debo Samuel. There is a greater than zero chance that Ricky Pearsall is your wide receiver one week one, which is not what you want to hear.
Tough.
Yeah.
Real tough.
But I do see a bounce back season from the 49ers. Shanahan had one other season in which had to deal with a lot of injuries, and they ended up picking high. The high draft pick turned into Trey Lance, which wasn't the right move, but they immediately bounced back the next year. And correct me if I'm wrong, did they go to the Super Bowl that following year, or was it the year after that?
Following year, right? Drafted Lance. Next year they went Purdy and went.
Yeah, something like that. But it just goes to show that I don't feel like they stayed down for long. I feel like Shanahan's a good enough coach. Again, another offensive-minded coach that knows how to get the most out of what he had. Like Jordan Mason in that offense last season, in place of McCaffrey, he looked phenomenal. Like he was winning people fantasy week over week for the first half of the season. But I am super scared of that wide receiver room that I just mentioned. And this will be the season where people will either be doing laps celebrating or saying how Brock Purdy is not an upper echelon quarterback because he's going to struggle with the weapons around him, or we're going to look at it and we are going to give him so many flowers if he's able to produce at the levels he has the last couple of seasons with these weapons around him. So this will go a long way in the public perception of Brock Purdy. But I have them actually winning the division. I think they bounce back. I think they finish because they have a bad schedule or easy schedule, I should say. So I think 11-6 is my prediction for them.
All right. For me, first off, I want to start off with I do think they had a really good draft. I know it's not on paper, it's not pretty, but I think that they had a lot of picks from anywhere from the second to fourth, fifth round that could potentially pay dividends. Obviously, one of them is Upton Stout, who's a 5'8" corner out of Western Kentucky. They got in the third round.
Shout out Short Kings.
They have him slated to start at nickel. And obviously Mikael Williams. But everyone else they have in that draft, there's a lot of dudes from CJ West. You mentioned a lot of these guys. Sounds like they're investing a lot in that defense. But this offense, man, if like you said, if Ricky Pearsall is your guy, and he was your first round pick, so he definitely could be. But outside of that, it gets ugly kind of quick. I mean, Demarcus Robinson could definitely catch you some balls. And obviously you did draft Jordan Watkins, which is sure. You're hoping for them to go 10, 11 wins. You're hoping Christian McCaffrey's back to Christian McCaffrey things. Because you did get rid of Jordan Mason. You did draft Jordan James, which I'm sure is a nice running back out of Oregon. Your O-line did get gutted a little bit. You lost Aaron Banks and others there on the O-line. Obviously, you still have Trent Williams. And then Kyle Shanahan is, I think, at least in my eyes, is a pretty decent head coach. Just a little mastermind that definitely helps that team out. And then we didn't mention, but um, Robert Saleh is back as a defensive coordinator, which to some that might not mean a lot. He went to the Jets, didn't do much there. We're not going to sit here and disrespect Robert Saleh and the defense that he puts out when he was with the 49ers prior.
The definition of a dude that is a much better coordinator than a head coach. Like, he is an upper echelon defensive coordinator.
And also, I can't judge somebody by having to deal with the Johnson up there and the Jets on how they are as a head coach. I think it's very hard. I think they win the division. I think the offense does struggle. I do like Brock Purdy, obviously, for obvious reasons, but that wide receiver room is very shaky. And you brought that upon yourself. You let that Brandon Ayuk thing happen last offseason, right? Where he wanted more. Then he came out and said, I did all that and I would have signed the first contract you gave me. It was all just for fucking fun and glam. It's like you let that kind of shit happen and then you're in spots like this with that wide receiver room. So for their sake, hopefully CMC comes back around. Hopefully that offense gets a little chugging along, and then that defense will probably take them places. But that defense did lose a lot in their secondary as well. So it'll be interesting to see that defense come together. I have faith in what Robert Saleh is doing, but also, I mean, Fred Warner's a dog, boys. Fred Warner's a dog. Nick Bosa's a dog. They got some guys there, but similar to kind of the Rams, they got a lot of young guys that have to come through and trying to perform in order for us to see the potential. But I'll give them, just because they are the 49ers, I'm giving them 10 wins. I think 10 is a nice baseline to kind of where they fall.
Dude, I'm so glad you shouted out Salah, because I think that's a huge difference in this thing. I mean, Shanahan's a hell of a head coach, and you just brought in Robert Saleh. So you're going to be sound on defense. I've got a lot of the same concerns. To be honest with you, we haven't talked too much about it, but like, is Christian McCaffrey healthy?
I haven't heard a lot coming out of camp.
You know what I mean?
He looks good in his Instagram workout videos, so I think so.
I hope so. That's going to be a huge factor, but Shanahan seemingly has figured it out over the last couple of years of the next man up, like finding these diamonds in the rough. Juwan Jennings was not supposed to be as good as he is, and he is. Demarcus Robinson, I think, will fill an absolute role early on. This team just needs to get healthy. If this team's healthy, they're a clear number one winner for me. But because of that, I'm going to go, if Seattle gets 11 wins, Niners get 10. If Seattle gets 10 wins, Niners get 11, they win the division. But I still think they're missing a couple pieces. Go get a corner. Shit, go get Zach Moss to be a running back, to be just a solid guy in case McCaffrey can't go.
I think they were really high on the kid they drafted last year,
Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah, fighting injury, though. Fought injury last year, fighting injury again.
But they also did, guess the name they brought back that I saw when I was researching them. Good old.
Oh, is he old?
Yeah.
Amir Abdullah.
No. Maybe. I have no idea what team Amir Abdullah plays for now. No, they brought back Jeff Wilson.
Hey, hell yeah. Amir Abdullah is on the Niners, just a heads up.
Is he actually?
Hell yeah, at 31 years old.
Go off, King.
Yeah, no, dude, this division feels like one of the more wide open in the NFL.
Definitely.
And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Whether or not Seattle or Arizona is a good team in that division, it's just going to be fun to watch, because I think we're just going to be watching that standings go up and down all year.
Honestly, I would not be surprised at all if any one of these teams won the division. Like, if things break right for any of these teams, they can win this division. So, yeah, it is wide open for sure.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, that's the NFC West. We've got 2 more divisions left the next 2 weeks before season kicks off. I'll turn over to the fellas. Shout outs for the week, if there are any.
Rob, what you got this week? I know you got
Take
something.
it away, bro. I always drove first.
You got nothing in there?
Yeah.
I don't want to steal yours.
Mine. I'll start first. As you guys know, as Urban Rob, no, I should say, I was in Omaha this weekend. taking more vacation days. I don't know how those keep getting approved at this point.
This guy.
But got to shout out the in-laws, mother-in-law and father-in-law. Birthday is September 1st and 2nd, celebrating their big 6-0, both of them. So happy, very early birthday to them, but we're able to celebrate them this past weekend. So that was my shout out.
Yeah, that's a smart little play right there, bud. That's a good play.
Oh,
That's brownie points.
There's
That's a
no
good
way
play.
they're getting this far into the podcast to hear that shout out, but
I meant more for you and your wife.
yeah, okay.
It's a good play.
Kick it away, Herb.
All right. Real quick, are you going State Fair?
No, that's all you.
Fantastic. Let me shout out the Iowa State Fair. All right. There's a hot little debate online. What's better? What's the best state fair? Is it Minnesota or Iowa? It's clearly Iowa. That's just a given. But more specifically, shout out the State Fair corn dog, because the State Fair corn dog rarely, if ever, has let me down in my life. All right. Shout out to a hot dog covered in dough, deep fried, and put on a fucking stick. Nothing better than a State Fair corn dog.
I think for me, it's kind of cheesy, but for me, it's just the time. To me, it's the fall, bro. I think fall is quickly approaching. I know it's probably a month or so out, but just this last weekend, being able to dive in. I know it was preseason and some people skip over it, but just being able to sit here and just glued to the TV, just watching football. I'm so ready for that to happen. I'm so ready for back to school to be done. And I'm ready for school to kick off. Obviously, having a teenager in the household, but yeah, I'm just ready for football season, man. I'm excited for fall. I'm excited for sweater season, hoodie season. So my shout out of the week is fall. The soups, the food, the wings, everything that comes with it. I'm just excited for it to be fall.
That's a good That's a good pander right there. I like that.
Yeah, baby.
I'm not gonna piss off anybody with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, that takes us or brings us to the end of episode 15. As always, leave a like, comment, follow, subscribe, whatever. Tell somebody that you love to give us a listen, and we will catch you. Who's raising their hand? Fuck off.
I didn't know that was a feature.
I didn't know.
Sorry for those that are not aware because they don't see the background here. Herb was sitting there raising his hand like you do in a Teams meeting.
Wasn't me. That was Rob, brother.
Oh, Rob was. I really thought you had something to say before I signed off here, but I don't think. I think you're just fucking with me. So, fuck off.
There you go.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We will catch you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.
Go Pack, go.